Hi, my name's Dan, and this is not a picture of me. This video is one in a series of videos that I'm doing on Armour in video games and the mechanics and design thoughts surrounding the concept of armour, obviously for combat purposes, and which in turn is part of a larger suite of videos that I'm doing about game design topics. So. This one's kind of an introduction video. I'm going to state loads of obvious stuff, which is is the thing that I do, and I'm going to kind of give the basics of the mechanics of armor in video games before we take it further, just so that everybody's kind of on the same page and understands the use of armor in games. So here we go. The first thing to talk about is the effect of the armor. So. It's all very well sticking on some armour as a player, but if it doesn't actually do anything, then all it is cosmetic. And cosmetic can be fine, but usually the point behind armour is to do something for the player. And as in real life, where armour is about avoiding being hurt, then armour in games is usually about reducing in some way incoming damage. And there's, I think, two kind of broad ways of going about this. So the one is to deflect hits, so to make it so that actually the chance of being hit is reduced. This, I don't think that this is the most common way that armour is used in games. And we'll look at damage reduction in a second rather than damage avoidance. I think it is more realistic in the sense that armor tends to protect you from actually from something piercing through that into your body, so a bullet or a sword or something like that. But it is usually more common to do absorbing damage or to reduce the amount of damage that's incoming. So there are a couple of ways that you can do this, at least. There will be others as well, but here are two really common ones. So ignore the first 20 hit points of any damage. So basically you just chop a fixed amount of incoming damage. And then the other is to reduce all damage by a percentage. And the percentage is quite powerful because the larger the damage coming in, the larger effect the armor has, of course, in this setting. So, of course, it would be possible to have more complex systems than either of these, but sometimes in combat systems you have maybe different types of damage. So some armor may be particularly effective against crushing damage, some against piercing damage, some against slashing damage. So if you have different damage types, you might have different ratings with different types of armor. Okay. So the second thing to talk about is equipping, and this is a very common thing in games, which is you may have an inventory with a whole lot of stuff that you're carrying around with you, because heroes have not only got huge size bags that shrink things down to a small size, but also the ability to carry massive amounts of weight around with them, which is, fine, of course, because that serves the game. So this is normally done by using some form of slot system. It doesn't have to be, it would be possible to say you've just got armor, and that's it, and you've got basically one slot for a complete suit of something. And you might go down that route for more futuristic things where you're kind of encased in some kind of body armor system. But certainly for medieval armor and those sort of things, you tend to go down the slots route. So I'll just kind of a couple of looks at slots here. So there's this is from Minecraft, and you basically got head, torso, legs, and feet, which is quite a simple system. And here's a shot from World of Warcraft where there's considerably more slots. Now, some of these are jewelry, but you've got down to the sort of information of belt and necklace and things for your hands and shoulders and all sorts of stuff. So is there a particularly good reason for going down a slots route for equipping armour? I would say a lot of games do it. I think there's probably an expectation from players. It depends on your game and your setting. It gives the ability to do effectively partial upgrades to your armour as you exchange things. Sometimes it's linked into crafting systems, so you might be able to either upgrade existing items through crafting or replace them with better items. It basically just adds more item management to your game the more you go down this route. And I think as a general observation, the more complex the game and the deeper the game aims to be, the more armour slots you seem to have. So more casual games will have fewer, and more complex games will have more. So one final thing to talk about, which is durability for armour. So this is a mechanic that's often used, which is that instead of making one set of armour that just lasts forever, or looting one set of armour that lasts forever, of course you're probably going to want to upgrade as you get access to more and as you go through the game. And that's another way in which the player becomes more powerful, in that they become more resilient. But sometimes you may have to replace the armour that you've been wearing because it just basically wears out, or do some kind of mechanic to replenish it so that it doesn't wear out. There's all sorts of different approaches to this in different games. I would say, again, this is a very common mechanic to have in games, and I think the reason is, again, it adds the management aspect of thinking, well, I've got to be able to make sure I've got another set of armour ready for when this one wears out. Those sorts of thoughts. And potentially it encourages players to be maybe a little less gung-ho as they approach combat if they're going to have to replace armour. I feel like I'm stepping out onto a ledge here when I'm saying that World of Warcraft has a particular mechanic that when you die, you get a big hit to the durability of your armour, which is part of the deterrent that World of Warcraft gives for dying, because of course you resurrect and you can go back and continue from where you were. So that's kind of some basic outlining ideas in the concept of armour. I'm going to move on to do more specific stuff as we go through the series of videos, but that is it from me for now.